Hi, I'm Krishna Shantakumar. In my 26-year journey in the hospitality industry, which has always been about service excellence, I have found that there is one void that we all in the industry try to fill, and that is trying to find motivated, energetic, driven youngsters who are job ready, who are skilled, and who are ready to take on all the challenges we throw at them. At Adevo, we hope to fill that void. At Adevo, we are hiring for attitude and skilling for service excellence.
Though initially Shambhavanandaji refused, I was also disappointed. But I would come exactly at 4:30. I would enter, but Swamiji would say, no vacancy. I've been telling you there is no vacancy. What's the use of hanging on here? I was so disturbed. Young man, I just cycled through and told Subraj I'll never go to that institution. And a few days later, I got the call from Vidyashala. And I came. Swamiji welcomed me. The sheer grace of Guru Maharaj. I'm still hanging on in this institution. It was in the year 1957, soon after my graduation, one Professor Subrayachar, UK, he was instrumental in sending me to this institution. He was the Dean of the Students' Welfare, University of Mysore. He was instrumental. He was a close associate of Ashrama and a friend of Swami Shambhavanandaji. And because of him, I came to know of this Ramakrishna Vidyashala and tried to get in. And Guru Maharaj's grace, I became a member of the staff of this institution. I had not heard of anything about Vidyashala, neither about Swami Shambhavanandaji, except I had heard of Swami Vivekananda, his achievements, and his works. But I had no access to go through any of the literature or Swamiji's complete works or books dealing with the talks or lectures of Swamiji. And Mysore city was you can say, a bigger village. Communication was not that easy as it is today. So we had no access to come this side at all. Except twice I came once along with my aunt, who was a radio artist. So with her, I came and passed in front of Ramakrishna Ashram, but we had no access to go in. That was just I was in high school. And incidentally, my aunt and myself, we visited the house of Professor V. Subramanya Iyer, who was a teacher to many of the student monks in the study circle of Mysore Ashrama. But yet somehow, since I was a high school student, just a teenager, probably there was no occasion for me to come this way. See, in all the approaches that Swami Shambhavanandaji, as far as I know, see, he was a silent worker. He never worked for name and fame and never worked for any publicity. As Swami Vivekananda puts it, no newspaper humbug. Swamiji followed it typically. So there was no, I feel, no advertisement or announcement of any type. Silently he was working on this project. There were hardly newspapers. There were 2, 3 local newspapers like Sadhvi and Mysore Patrike. Both are defunct now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there was no communication at all. Though initially Shambhavanji refused, I was also disappointed. But Subrayachar used to go and tell me, look, he's testing you. Don't get disheartened. I was a young man traveling on a bicycle, hired bicycle. I didn't have my own bicycle then. I would come exactly at 4:30. I would enter, but Swamanji would say, no vacancy. Finally, in the portico, I recall very well. He probably was apparently annoyed. I can't say now. I've been telling you there is no vacancy. What's the use of hanging on here? I was so disturbed. Young man, I just cycled through and told Subrayachar I'll never go to that institution. But Subrayachar, in his typical calm and quiet approach, no, Swamiji is testing you again. And a few days later, I got the call from Vidyashala. And I came. Swamiji welcomed me. Sheer grace of Guru Maharaj. I'm still hanging on in this institution. Professor Subrayachar. Oh, he was a great devotee. And he studied for some time and worked in this middle school neighboring the Vidyashala. And he also worked as a warden, I have heard, for some time in the students' home. Those days, all these students coming from outside Mysore city, they were aware of Ramakrishna Students' Home. In the old building, Professor Jawadegoda was there. Probably M.N. Vishwanath for a few days was there also, or Nakasturi was associated. So all these intellectuals and professors of Maharaja's College were in touch with Ramakrishna movement solely because I feel of the efforts of Swami Siddheshwaranandaji. And therefore every intellectual, he or she was aware of Ramakrishna Ashrama. And Subrayachar was very much. By the time I met Subrayachar, it was 1953. He was already a lecturer in Maharaja's College. And he was the warden of the Maharaja's College hostel. That is how Subrayachar was already connected with this institution, and through him, I was fortunate enough to come under Swami Shambhavanandaji Maharaj. He had informed the then Warden Swamiji, Swami Prasannanandaji Maharaj, that so and so would come. And he had told Swami Shambhavanandaji also, I feel. And he had very particularly told me, at 4 exactly you must enter. I didn't have a wristwatch, as I don't use now also. I came a little earlier, waited near the middle school for a long time, asked the passers-by what the time was like. And when they said 5 minutes to 4, walked in. And I remember there was a clock, a wooden frame clock. It was exactly 4 o'clock when I entered. This distinctly I remember. And Swami Prasannanji Maharaj, the chief warden, he called, Jagannath, here is the candidate sent by Subrachar. That's all. There was no formal letter of introduction. He had spoken to them. Probably that had a greater effect than a mere letter. I joined in May 1957. Pandit Nehru came later. So we had, that's because Gurumara's grace and Shambhavanji's blessings. We could meet, shake hands, speak to Pandit Nehru. I was very much here. There was an initial hiccup was there. Will I fit into this? The morning I can clearly say, it was 27th May 1957. I walked the distance from city to Ramakrishna Vidyashala. To be here at 7:15 to 7:20. Many students were there. I was just 19 plus, around 20 years. There were students almost of my age those days. And one or two also asked me, what class have you come to? I remember that. And suddenly what prompted me to answer, I don't know what I said, to all the classes. So Prasannanji made me feel at home, and I was asked to be a residential teacher. Right from 27th May, I continued here till June end 1963, when I had to go for my studies, master's studies. But still Swami Shambhavanandaji and Swami Prasannanji kept in touch with me. That was their greatness. I got myself adjusted very easily. There were two persons. In the initial stages, I was put in what was called as, even now it is called as B block. I was put there. Another senior teacher was already in charge of that residential unit. There was another monk, Swami Keshavanandaji Maharaj. He put me at ease. I owe a lot to him because it was he who streamlined all my approach to the residential setup and the demands of this institution. Swami Shambhavanandaji, all put together I should say. Oh, majestic, majestic. Lion, lion. Regal bearing. Princely looking. Majestic gait. He never stooped while walking, always erect. He insisted on everyone to walk trim and tidy and straight. And while going up the steps, he never touched the railings. Even now, when I go up the steps, I feel the moment my hand goes, I withdraw it. He was like that. Always trim, tidy, and he wanted everybody to be that. See, whatever project or program Swami Shambhavanandaji undertook or envisaged, he never approached the project in a segmented pattern. He looked at it in its totality. And towards this end, he consulted thoroughly all the available materials or literature available during those days. He analyzed fully the pros and cons, the benefits or otherwise, before embarking on any project. Further, he had no hesitation. He had the great quality of openness to approach intellectuals, men in that field, men of letters, like Sir Vidyashala, Sir Mirza Muhammad Ismail, both the great divans of Mysore. Field Marshal K.M. Karyappa was always a regular visitor to the institution and a close friend of Swamiji. Professor E.R. Wadia, V. Subramania Iyer. One incident he would recall. It seems when the construction was going on, Sir Mirza Ismail asked him one simple question: where do you build the bathrooms in the building? Swamiji was already progressive, far ahead of thoughts. He said at the end, in the corner. This he narrated himself to us. Mirza Ismail was so happy. Quite often I have seen hostels and buildings where as you enter, you come across the bathrooms, the stinking. So this Swami had the openness, magnanimity to consult people and himself thoroughly discuss, read lots of books, sift out the best of ideas. Even when he contemplated to start this institution, Sri Ramakrishna Vidyashala, it was not a hodgepodge decision. He studied thoroughly several books dealing with the administration of public schools in the West. He sifted the best ideas from them, translated them to Indian setup, suitable to Indian society, and then only decided to implement them here. There were lots of criticisms in the beginning that this institution catered to the needs of rich people only. Swamiji had a very good answer for it. Response was like this: look, I have got an umbrella which can accommodate 4 or 5 or half a dozen heads. But my idea is, if anybody passes through this institution and the programs pursued here and feels for the society, when he goes back to his own village or town or city, if he can improve in his own way that part of the locality and the people there, greater things to develop the country will be achieved.